It has been over 10 years since this shoe made a comeback, but this time around we have some significant changes that are worth checking out. Hey guys, welcome back to our Kicks Reasons channel, and today we're looking at Reebok's ES22, one of the most anticipated sneakers this year and kind of a surprising release by Reebok. Judging by the feedback on my Instagram page, a ton of people like this shoe, a ton of people were waiting for this shoe to come back, and a ton of people were surprised, just like me, that this shoe is actually making a comeback after 10 years in front of many other sneakers that everybody's been waiting for, but still it is something different and it's something new and not another question release or not another Shaq release. So everything different is welcomed by the community. A lot of you are really excited about this shoe, and I was really excited to see it again. Honestly, last time 10 years ago when it released, I did not buy a single colorway, including the original colorways, just because I was not happy with the changes that Reebok did. And there are a few things with this release that a lot of you did not like. Personally, I did not like as well. So as always, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna show you all the positives and tell you, oh, go ahead and buy it. I'm gonna go and tell you some of the negatives as well. And of course, we're gonna talk about all the positives as well and why this shoe is attractive and why people really wanna get it. Now you guys are gonna see them on the close-ups. I'm gonna show you all the details about, but let me get the two negatives out of the way first. That way we can move on to the positives. Now, first and foremost, for me personally, is the price. Now, this shoe is releasing for $180, and a lot of you commented on my Instagram again that this price is outrageous, especially for a shoe that doesn't feature a lick of genuine material on it. There's no genuine leather anywhere, but you know, considering the original one didn't have a genuine leather as well, so that's not a problem for me. Again, the price is a bit higher and not really justifiable considering you don't have the original Hexalite as well. We've commented this many times before. Original Hexalite will not make a comeback. As much as I'm asking, as much as you guys are asking about it, it probably will never happen. The original maker of the Hexalite is no longer in business, so Reebok has to come up with something that resembles Hexalite, and they can still call it Hexalite. I put it on the shoe and hope that we're gonna like it. Am I disappointed about this part? No, absolutely not, because I'm expecting that and I knew it's not gonna be original Hexalite. But again, circling back to the price, $180, I think this is a price of Shaq Attack, which features Graphite, which is actual technology, features Pump, which is actual technology that you can feel and use. And a lot of those Shaq Attacks were genuine leather. So 180, I think it's a bit of a mistake. I think realistically the price should have been 140, 120 maximum. At 180, most of the comments or all the comments that I get on my Instagram page were, I'm gonna wait for a sale. I'm gonna wait for a sale. I'm gonna wait for them to drop down. I'm gonna wait for them to go on deep sale. Unfortunately, that's what's gonna happen. I can predict it. For 180, not a lot of people will go out there and grab them. You can consider 180 plus tax, that's $200 for a shoe that came 25 years ago. Now, the other thing that I personally am not happy about is the lack of translucent outsole. If Reebok can put translucent outsole or Reebok Ice on all the hundreds of pairs of questions, I see no reason why a $180 shoe cannot have it as well. How much more expensive it will be, I'm not sure. I'm not part of the Reebok crew. I'm not part of their project management. So I'm not sure how much this shoe exactly costed to be made and how much would have been more if they put translucent outsole. But again, considering that the inspiration of this black and white outsole is actually coming from the original pre-production or kind of a retail sample shoe, that the shoe was made like this originally when it was released on the market, it came with the Reebok Ice because they were pushing a lot of that all on pretty much every other model they had. And having a black and white, it's okay. I'm not that much offended, but at the same time, I would have loved to see the original retail version with the translucent outsole. A lot of you noticed that, a lot of you commented on that as well. So these are the two major things that I can mention. Let's go on to the positives, and I really like a lot of the elements that Reebok have done here. Color combination is very true to the original. We have the blue and the black, those Dallas Cowboys colors that Emmitt Smith made famous with this shoe. Obviously he was playing for the Dallas Cowboys at the time. number 22 jersey. Of course, we have that in the back, and I really like these. I always like these patches that Reebok with the vector and the number, and they're kind of iridescent, or they're reflecting the light in different angles. Same goes for the Reebok vector logo on the ton. Excellent touch, just like on the original. Another excellent touch is the padding on the ton and the padding around the heel. This is probably the heaviest padding I've seen on any retro for a long time, and I've preached about how great the padding was on the Shack Attacks and stuff like that, but this is on the next level. This is almost more than the original, because I remember the original one did not have that much padding. This is a giant padding on the back. There are pillows around your heel. Excellent for comfort. And speaking of comfort, when you put them on feet, they're really comfortable. Even if you're a super wide footer, I mean, this shoe is so wide. Look how wide it is. If you look at it on top, it almost looks like a ski boot. It's so wide. But this is kind of the trademark of the time. The shoe is wide, provides a lot of room for your toes, and lengthwise is perfect. So true to size for those of you that are wondering. Of course, this shoe is releasing on September 15th, officially everywhere, Reebok.com, they're partners. So if you want to grab it, just keep in mind, true to size will be fine. Rope laces are thick enough. They're just like on the original ones. The lacing system is just like on the original ones. We have a vector logo on the toe lip. The rubber is nice. One really interesting and weird thing, and I'm not sure if it's a mistake in the factory, mistake in the project or whatever, but even in the box and on the label, on the tag, these are marketed as Reebok basketball. Now, don't get me wrong, they might look like a basketball shoe, but they're not basketball. They were a part of the preseason or cross-training division of Reebok at the time. Of course, they were made to be used on turf and not on basketball courts. So don't go out there and try to use them on the basketball courts. Maybe if you want to really use them, you can use them outdoors on some pavement, but these are not basketball, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know what the issue was, but you should have put something on the label like cross-training or preseason. Why are we not bringing the preseason line back? Why are we not bringing the blacktop line back? These are the lines that a lot of people have been asking, and they want to see it. Quick side rant, that's it. When it comes to this shoe, a little bit of the history. The designer, E. Scott Morris, legendary Reebok designer with hundreds of designs behind his back, created this shoe initially to be a Shack model. A lot of you might not know, but this shoe was meant to be a Shack model, and with different circumstances actually transitioned to be a ES or Emmitt Smith shoe. He really liked it, and Emmitt Smith made it his own, and they went ahead and created it for him, tailored it for him, and that became his signature shoe at the time. Obviously, other cues from the time, you can see the front and back hexalite pods, the exaggerated kind of a midsole that is going all the way up. And speaking of containment, if you put these on feet, your foot is not going anywhere. These giant wings on both sides, lateral and medial, they're coming from the midsole. They're part of the EVA. They keep your foot in place, no problem whatsoever. Another thing, of course, back in the day, right here on the bottom was Ultra Hexalite. You could have seen it. I was always questioning why the Ultra Hexalite is extending where your arch is. You're never gonna touch that. You're never gonna depress that from your foot because your arch is sitting higher. It was just for a visual aspect, and the one on the heel made sense. But yeah, it was just part of the design. So yeah, I mean, this shoe, honestly, back in the day, was a big hit. Emmitt Smith was a giant name, and he was the face of Reebok preseason for a long time. He advertised the pay dirt generation, the Atlas or Arsenal and other parts of the world. Part of the preseason shoe, and a lot of these models were iconic. People have been asking them forever because they were so great. Reebok 10 years ago released the first generation of the Pay Dirt, which was accepted with mediocre excitement. I was personally a huge fan of that model. Unfortunately, the way it was released didn't really excite me too much, so I grabbed a few pairs from it just to have for a collection, but really it was not what I was wanting to see. I was hoping they're gonna go and release the second generation and maybe the third generation, which was one of the best, if not the best from the line. Everybody wanted that shoe. It was amazing. Had the strap, the cross strap, it had the pump, had the hexalite. It was absolutely beautiful. But later in the 90s, past 96, 97, Scott Morris was creating a lot of these designs, and just like the Preacher, just like the Dunk Mop for Shaq, they were bold, big, and they featured a lot of visible hexalite, which Reebok really wanted to showcase, which was great. And the ES22 was part of that as well, then followed up by the Rush 1, the Rush 2. Those two models I also like a lot. I would have preferred them actually to see instead of this one. And if you've been with my channel, you've probably seen that I have original pairs of those as well. But regardless, exciting new pair that nobody was expecting. Reebok are continuing to surprise us, just like everybody was surprised about the Vertical 1 and the Above the Rim line making a comeback. This is probably the highest anticipated line and shoe coming this year at some point. Hopefully I'll have a chance to review it for you guys. I'm probably gonna go for multiple pairs because I have the 2, the 3, the 4, in the original forms in multiple pairs. I absolutely adore the Vertical line. It's my favorite of all time of the Above the Rim. And now that we're gonna see the 1, hopefully we're gonna see the 5 one day, but now that we're gonna see the 1 dubbed the Orcas, a lot of people called them back in the day because of the black and white combination. But now that we're gonna see it, I'm so excited. Above the Rim is just incredible. And that model was absolutely iconic at the time. All the big names that had Reebok contract in the NBA were rocking it. So hopefully the retro will be just as good as the original one and we all can enjoy it and put it on our feet again. So yeah, long story short, ES22 coming September 15th officially. Some stores are already selling them. You can probably go ahead in your local Finish Line or whatever and just grab a pair if you want to. But officially from Reebok.com and their retail partners, this shoe will be releasing on September 15th for the price of $180. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of the other videos coming very, very soon. And as always, guys, you have a wonderful day.